Peace, Khalil. Think fast. Happy now, of course. Just thinking about how time, just a reminder of how time don't exist. You know, uh, it's all about, what we have is this moment. And in this moment, you know, the sun could be over here, or in this moment, the sun could be over there, but it's not a time. It's just, how I say, in that moment, the sun is in a different position than it was. Same thing as above, so below. Like in this moment, I'll be right here, and another moment, I'll be over there, and another moment, I'll be somewhere else. But it's not like no actual time. If you took away all clocks and calendars right now, because two, that's another thing I want to break down, that our time, our date and all that. So even down to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like these are, to a certain extent, Greco-Roman slash, Old English terminologies. you know. So these days of the week didn't exist, you know. Like matter of fact, speaking of the Sentinel Island people, I know I probably brought them up a while back, or like I kind of bring it up in the videos with the Sentinel Island people, with not, with keeping the island from being colonized, But man, I got zapped out of that quick. Oh, with the days being fall. Like wait, man. That's you know what be happening. That's a lesson to teach me to kind of not, again, to not veer too off of what I'm speaking to. But again, these dates, so that's what I was gonna say. The Sentinel Island people and the Solomon Island people ain't talking about no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like they know about just connecting with the land, and just being, you know, and how there's timelessness in being. I bet you some of them people on the Sentinel Island, they might have some people that's probably 100 and some years old, and probably, look like somebody that we consider to be, like 60 or 70 or something like that. I know it, like, cause again, without the stress, without all that Wi-Fi pollution, like so basically they living without all of those poisons, without the poison, like without the subconscious poison. They're not always watching the Hollywood movies. They're they're barefoot connecting to the planet, to the earth. They're eating off of the land, which means there's no artificial substances going into their foods. They're not taking artificial prescription pills, poisons, I should say. All this. So I'm pretty sure, they got a certain, level of like longevity as far as like lifespan. I'm pretty sure. But again, getting back to these dates, days of the week, that all come. So that didn't come around until, because again, they got water erosion on the Sphinx from 10,000 years plus, going way back. And then you got even artifacts in Louisiana that's 8,000 in the Baton Rouge area, in Sentinel Park to be exact. On the little mound where the little magazine building at. There are artifacts that date back to 8,000 years old right there. And then people living in that area of Spanish Town dates back to 10,000 years ago. That's in Louisiana, you know. And again, so this was before people been existing, before these dates were set up. Even down to the year, this is not the real year, so to speak. If we were going to count years on that level, it's like the year is based off of when they wanted to create the Christ energy into a historic character, because it's a fact, from Mithra to Quetzalcoatl, to Horus. It's again, I forgot the name of the author of the book, but the 16 crucified saviors. It's a book that point out to all the different, other Christ and the Krishna, born of the Virgin, some stars like the three wise men. Of the three wise men is Orion's belt, but the three stars in Orion's belt. But this star proclaim, that this baby would be born of this virgin, you know what I'm saying? Then again, you got Osiris, which Horus name doesn't stand for the black dot in essence, but Osiris name does, you know, the quote unquote father of Horus, but which I think Osiris has a story like that as well, where he kind of born of a virgin. I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on that one, but you know, and also Krishna name breaks down into the black one or the black dot, you know. So again, you're seeing also that correlation with this, you know, this energy coming from the primordial, you know, mother, or that from that darkness of the womb, man, let there be light, you know. And then as above, so below, you see it within the peoples, from the darkness of the melanated people, let there be different shades of light, you know. Compared to where, you know, somebody that's already of a light color cannot create different shades of people, you know. And again, it's just straight up, you know, facts. Like, it's not about nobody being better than nobody, superior or inferior, you know. It's just what it is. So again, you got all this coming around later where none of this existed, you know, as we, you know, dealing with things. Of course, we kept record of, now to a certain extent, again, we did keep record of again, I don't like to use the word time, or more so like kept up with the moment, you know. So you did have things like, I think about Adam's calendar. I done brought up that before. Adam's calendar with in South America. You know, matter of fact, Michael Tellinger, you know, spoke on, you know, finding these different little, it's like little frequency mounds, like, so it's little mounds, like little circular mounds, like mounds built in a little circle, you know, but he's seeing them all over the South Africa area, stuff like that, and he was saying in connection, which, you know, I don't know, or give into the physical story of the Anunnaki too much, you know, as far as like, oh, they were actual beings, you know, forcefully mine and go from, but to a certain extent, you know, it does tie into like what basically he was saying, like those little areas are, you know, places to where they would like use the energy of sound and frequency to raise up the gold bars to these beings or whatever. But back to the story with Adam's calendar, keeping up with, you know, with the timing of things, even to now, even Stonehenge is somewhat of like a, you know, like a calendar type of vibe. And then you got the, hold on, it's something obscure. You know, it was idea dealing from like Shakespeare. Damn, if I remember, I'm gonna go get my tablet to get back to it. But I would just want to stay in the mode right now. But again, it was more so with these types of you know, stones, you know, and more so just keeping up with, all right, it's winter coming, it's fall coming, it's summer coming, you know, like with just those seasons. But again, not necessarily dealing with a time. But again, we were dealing with keeping up with the time, so to speak, but it wasn't on no extreme micromanageable level of what time, like that didn't exist. You know, we were working, nope, sun about to go down, you know, stop working. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like, oh, it's about to be something o'clock, we got to go do this, or it's about to be, you know, again. And we're also again connected to our higher self more, you know, more close to the spirit. So, you know, intuitively, like, imagine how we getting, so how a lot of us getting intuitive downloads with all this fuckery around us, with all this fucking harmful food, Wi-Fi, you know, this 5G network, just all these different harmful things on us, and yet a lot of us are still able to tap into these high energies. So imagine people's existing when none of this shit was existing, and how they were able to tap into the energy. Again, that's why they keep trying to promote this transhumanism and this vibe of like, you know, dealing with technology more, because, you know, because they can't, like certain people that can, you know, that's you know, that's incapable of opening their pineal gland, cannot tap into these energies. So, you know, misery loves company, so they try to promote the vibe of like, well, let's everybody use technology because we can't tap into the energies like other people naturally do. Like God, like Source made people to naturally tap into these energies, we can't, in essence. So we want to, we want to bring everybody down to our level, you know. But again, like then later as you get down the line, so it's kind of keeping with time to a certain extent. Got again amplified as it got to the Greece and the Rome vibes, and you get all these other days of the week, which I'm not gonna get deep into. Think about like Friday is named after the god Frigg. That's in Norse mythology. So again, that would mean the days of the week came way later, because Norse mythology and any of European mythology comes, way after, the indigenous predecessors. I don't even want to say African, because again, it was this whole planet, a plane of existence, I should say. But again, also, which I was getting to, but kind of got away from, with the before Christ, like this is 2000 such and such AD, and this is BC. Well, how could there be AD BC when Christ was never a historical character to begin with? That's why I was talking about, like, you got the Krishnas, the Horuses, and all these different characters that showed you that this energy, existed way before y'all tried to say, oh, this person named Jesus walked the earth and this and that. Like, so basically, again, with us being like, oh, well, it's 2019, because it's basically 2019 years, or 2018. It's 2018 years away from when Christ was born, or before Christ, and or should I say, after that. Like, so this is considered to be 2018 years after the crucifixion. But wait, hold on. How in the fuck could we be having a calendar based on this when we know that the Christ energy is talking about the Christ seed all in my body and being crucified in the area of my medulla? So who and what are the fuck you talking about? Why is it 2018? Even down to the days of the year, or should I say the months? Where you got September, October, November, December. Sep meaning 7, Oct meaning 8. The no, in essence, a net. Like I think Nueve is 9 in Spanish. Don't quote me. Look at me, kind of remember things. But anyway, the net, so 9 for November, and then D, December 10. But yet December's not the 10th month. November not the 9th month, October not the 8th month, September not the 7th month. So what's going on? So again, them not keeping up with real dates anyway to begin with, and also the year, the calendar year, is based off of when the star Sirius, the Earth, and the Sun is in alignment, because they're trying to track when when the Nephilim is going to return, or when the giants are going to wake up. When we say Nephilim return, it's like we've always been here. It's just the energy, or the great old ones waking up within us. Those giants, those sleeping giants are waking up within us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are the titans that, the gods are, or should I say, the energies that we created, is trying to, capture us, just like how Kronos, we got, in essence, the created Zeus and all these other guys, or should I say, created our birth, reproduce, whatever. But, Kronos created, Zeus, and then Zeus get into power, and then again, lock his own parent up. The same thing with melanated people on this planet, as above, so below. The ancient indigenous people, parents to any other life forms on this. And I tell people, whether it's the Yakub situation of genetically doing stuff or whatever, but again, any Caucasian or European person has to have some extension from, the ancient predecessors, you know what I'm saying? So, again, with that, I forgot where I was going with that. I was speaking on the ancient energies. It'll come back to me. Dang. Cause speaking on I spoke on the before Christ vibes. And I was getting into the day. Oh, yeah, them following again, them following when Sirius, the sun and the earth line up to again the track when when these giants are gonna be waking up again, when these titans are gonna, and they got little stories, they got a little show, I haven't watched the anime yet on Netflix, waking of the Titans or Return of the Titans, and there's like these big being like these people put these walls up to protect them from the Titans, and I even had to watch it to get the concept of those walls, or like the walls of the conscious mind, like the conscious mind trying to block out that primordial energy, that primordial mother energy, like basically like the walls represent us being in our humanity, and blocking out those great old ones that we are, in essence. But it's like those titans are trying to come over the walls and this and that, like in the little story. But that's, again, it's energies, like it's an energy breaking down barriers, like the great mother primordial energy, that Kali Ma energy, or that black hole, that Ophiuchus energy, that number 13 Ophiuchus, Friday Fritter, which also breaks into Oshun, which also breaks into Ozuli, which also, and again, and Ozuli and Oshun are predecessors to, Freya and Frigg, because Freya and Frigg, even though two different gods in the Norse mythology, it seemed like it's a kind of like a vibe where a lot of people feel like they are the same person or whatever. But again, Frigg is who they claim to name Friday after, and the day for dealing with Oshun and Orzula is Friday, you know what I'm saying? So later they was like, all right, well, since we create an extension of this guy, we're gonna name her Frigg and we're gonna call this day Friday, Orzula, Oshun, Ishtar, or what it is, Ilana, Anana, Anana and Ishtar the same thing, but all these different Friday, beings associated with Friday and the love and beauty energy, Venus, Venus connected to Azula, connected to Oshun energy, but you see that correlation. But again, so for there to be, for this date, these dates that we got, for them to be real, you know what I'm saying? Again, historically, there was no Jesus Christ that walked this plane of existence when they, and I give the benefit of the doubt of as above, so below, because there's, Christ energy that does exist, to a certain extent, and two, like that Christ energy born of a virgin, say for instance, when that Christ energy awakens within us, nobody had to have sex for that Christ energy to awaken within us, so, it was like that Christ energy born of a virgin, like nothing within us had to have sex, so to speak, for that energy to raise up, So that's another little aspect of, that alchemical meaning of that virgin birth in essence, But again, no before Christ or after that, it's a fact that Constantine got together, with other bishops, other little people, and had the two councils of Nicaea where they were going to create a situation to make Jesus a historical figure, and they were going to take out the Apocrypha, take out the Book of Enoch, because these books weren't going to allow them to still, lie like the way they were trying to lie. It wasn't going to allow for that to happen if those books would have been in the Bible. That's why they had to take them out. And again, you see the setup, again, and go research this if you think with any and all my videos, go research, to see if it's right, what I'm saying? Go check it out for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. I feel like, oh, well, you know, because again, a lot of stuff, where there's a mixture of inner gnosis and what I watch on videos and what I may read, and a lot of this stuff I'm not necessarily like marking down an end note on every single thing. So as I'm sharing it, I may not in every second like, well, I got this from this library and this library got this information from this and this got this. Like, I'm giving the information in such a way where you could line up like these things are true. And even though I'm not like backing every how can I say, every piece of it up as I'm speaking it, it is backed up. So feel free to research, and go look up anything that I dealt with. Because another thing about us, connecting with higher self is, being confident in sharing what we feeling, because a lot of things, again, we coming down with new information, but you have to be brave and not be scared of what others think in order to deliver that information. You can't be scared to be quote unquote wrong or right, because that's the ego. I don't want to be wrong. Like, shit, just say, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you don't want to, if you feeling a vibe of like, this shit is stupid, then of course, then you shouldn't even say it. But if you're feeling inspired to speak on it, then, then speak on it. But again, down to the months, not being lying, September, not even the 7th month, like how it's named. These days of the week coming from, again, like you think about Norse mythology, Frigg or Friday, that's how they name those. So, and Norse mythology is not, ancient to indigenous, spiritual practices and quote unquote mythology. So, so that came down later, and why would, again, we were already doing things a certain way, and then these things got, changed up. But it's also realizing too, though, this is the contrast and the pressure to make a diamond. So as much as I'm speaking on this, is not to complain or feel like, the people who created this calendar and all this is something that's separate from me. Like, I realize that, that's an extension of myself, creating a certain situation within this physical matrix for me to learn from, for me to grow from. Again, that pressure that makes a diamond. We don't want to get caught up in feeling like the government, like, you don't want to get caught up in feeling like any aspect within your physical experience is separate from the vibration that's going on within you. Like, everything is a manifestation of the vibration that's going on within us. Point blank period. So as much as I would clown a Donald Trump or something, or make a joke about that, I would also, like, after I made that joke, I would internally like say in my head, but Donald Trump is an extension of me. I am, I am the universe, and if that being exists within this universe, cockroaches, they exist, within. So that's God. I can't be like God is everything except for cockroaches and white people. Like, like, like what, again, you realize how even with, melanated people and some of these conscious movements, again, where some of that energy may be taken in the wrong manner into an egotistical place where you just only focus on, oh, I'm a black person, I'm a melanated person, I'm from Africa, this and that, and where you're not realizing, well, no, hold on, you're a guide on the human experience. You might want to get that straight with your subconscious, first and foremost, and then you could, I love Africa, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Again, giving thanks and, to the ancestors, stuff like that, but again, you want to realize that you are God on the human experience, that the quote-unquote, all these different ethnicities or races you see around you, it's like the different parts, as above, so below, different parts of the body, the heart different from the lung different from the intestines different from my finger different from my brain, my pineal different from my tongue, all different but yet the same, because it's all different aspects with different tasks, but they're all a part of this one body, And as above, so below. You know, just like they got a parts of this body that has different tasks. There's also parts of this body that's here. This body, as above, so below. This body is meant to stay here. You know, there's parts of us that are eternal and infinite, and there's parts of us that is not infinite. You know, that also goes to, certain things on this physical plane. You know, whether it be, trees, people, or just any type, certain things. Uh, only meant to be on this physical plane, you know what I'm saying? Like on this physical ground. And man, I be realizing making the good points and then something all of a sudden just but yeah, again, like, so with our body, when we transition, again, we are eternal, but we leaving this body behind. Not just because we leaving this body behind and dealing with our true soul doesn't mean that, our experience when occupying that body, wasn't quote unquote real to a certain extent. But again, it's not the true essence of our being. We are eternal. I am infinite. So to say that this body is me is not true, because I'm infinite and this body is not infinite. So this body is not who I am. And again, as above, so below. So just like certain energies that again, like this body created by the matrix and gonna stay with it. Other energies that were created by the matrix or in the matrix and don't have that higher connection is gonna stay in this matrix. So don't get caught in Chuck E. Cheese with the lights off. And I ain't watched Westworld yet, but Westworld kind of plays into this connection as well. Again, you don't want to be caught Chuck E. Cheese with the lights on. But that's basically it. Again, just realizing we are timeless. There's no such thing as time. We living in the moment. Of course, because as guides on the human experience, we allow for things to get where it is right now. Well, these people trying to implement time and do all these things, we realize though this is meant for our experience. It's not no bad thing like, oh, they bad people for creating time, or this is bad. Like, no, that's just the contrast. That's just the pressure in order to make a diamond. You know what I'm saying? And diamonds don't become diamonds without pressure. It'll just be carbon, by itself, just a lump of carbon. Or jet, like jet is kind of like carbon or coal as well, but just a lump of carbon until the pressures, because being in those depths, just like as above, so below, like how they consider, that Ophiuchus energy being, or that primordial mother energy, Set opening up his mother at the south gate in the vagina, so that coming from those depths. But that diamond, reason why that carbon and why diamonds are one of the hardest minerals on the planet is again because of how it's pressurized in these certain depths, so it it's strongly packed together. That's where the molecular structures for crystals in essence come from, as far as like the certain geometries. It's 7 different geometries that allow for things to be packed into space. So say for instance, like if I got a bunch of squares and I could put another square right here, another square on side, and there won't be no space in between, or like a bunch of triangles, and I have a bunch of triangles with no space in between, and that's what basically a crystal is. Go check out my crystal video, the long one I did recently. I don't know, it was like 2 hours or so, something like that, where I get into a lot of that. And I got other videos on my crystal vibrations playlist as well that would help in that area. But again, that's why that pressure, that carbon packed tight. That's why it's one of the hardest minerals on the planet. No coincidences in this universe. Think about shungite is one of the most detoxifying minerals. It's basically carbon. And you think about, carbon being closely tied to melanin. As above, so below. You look at the melanated people and their connection with this planet. You know, you look at indigenous people and how they take care of the planet, how they're not trying to start no war, they're not trying to create no capitalism, you know what I'm saying? Like, that peace, you know, because the melanated people are the detoxifying agent for this plane of existence. You know, and the, you know, the less melanin you have, and the less you're connecting with that melanin, because you also have melanated people who are disconnected from the high vibration of their melanin. So, you know, they doing things that are just as worse as people without melanin connections or carbon connections. You know, again, seeing where it's about just tapping into your energy. You know, in general, but you see it in the crystals, you see it in the people, you see it in the cosmos. From the darkness, let there be light. Dealing with shungite, one of the most detoxifying, you know, crystals that's out there. Mostly made out of carbon. Diamond, one of the most, you know, one of the hardest minerals out there. Most prettiest, and you know, nice vibration in this crystal. Come from carbon. You know, look, turn on the TV. You know, again, seeing these correlations. You know, think about sports. You know, the brethren run fast, jump high, and again, this is not about beating on your chest like I'm like as if to say you're better than somebody. You know, like no. You know, this is all a connect. That's like me being the heart, like the heart within our body, saying I'm better than the stomach and the intestines and the anus and the sexual organs and the brain. Like I'm more important than that. Like nah, the heart just does its job, and its job may be important, you know, but it's not. In fact, beating on his chest. It's not beat because that's why our heart look at it. The heart is not beating on its chest about it. Like as far as like, well, you know, I'm the heart, motherfucker. Y'all better, you know, like nah. The heart is just doing what it do. Like y'all don't even have to say thank you. You know, this is what I do. You know, but that whole vibe. Again, timelessness, existing before time, existed before words. That's why subconscious, you know, magic or magic in general, dealing with, you know, in essence, programming the subconscious on a level to be able to manifest things like magic. But you know, the subconscious deal with symbols, you know, because we wasn't, you know, in ancient times we wasn't speaking the English language, let alone you know, language at all, because we had a higher level of telepathy. And again, our subconscious speaks with symbols. We existed way before words were created. You know, words are a product of us being on a physical experience, and we existed way before we were in this physical experience. Therefore, you know, our levels of communication were on a level, you know, without words. You know, with symbols and pictures. You know, basically. Again, 16 crucified saviors. This energy existed tenfold, you know, but yet people going to church and buildings, and you know, people done got killed over Jesus Christ. You know, these evangelists, you know, in these crusades, going on these crusades to, you know, matter of fact, you think about, and as I'm speaking about that, no coincidence, I think about the situation recently that happened with the Sentinel Island situation, where this white brethren went to the Sentinel Islands and was trying to convert the people to Christianity. So say, you know, he ended up getting killed. You know, in which I had talked about that before. Like they don't allow any outsiders. Like shit. Like to a certain extent, they may. And then I start to realize though, like what. Like the European mind frame that's coached upon this world is the sickness within itself, because even being a melanated people, until you get over that sickness, to a certain extent, you know, you a white person just as much as a white person is a white person. For all that matter, you know what I'm saying? Because I thought about it, I'm like, I don't know. The Cincinnati people probably wouldn't even let a melanated person on that business, especially if they wasn't, you know, if they seemed like their energy was on some other shit. Like, bro, like, look, no outsiders. None of that fruitgaziness on the island. Like, cause again, cause say for instance, I thought about we deal with cell phones, all that shit. They like that's sorcery, which not sorcery, cause I'm pretty sure again they dealing with some indigenous magic and vibes that you know on another level. But again, these evangelists forcing this upon the world, and again, you see how they force it upon the world, where they make everybody, you know, to a certain extent, they try to make everybody honor Vatican and the Pope. You know, our everything that you know, again, our dates is based off of before Christ and after death. You know, like everything is based off of their religious control that they're trying to implement. You know, but that's basically it. Again, we are timeless beings. Peace. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. We're not going too far in the future now. We're not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace.